Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Coding for Entrepreneurs Live. I'm going to be answering your questions when you have them. So naturally on the live stream, we like to answer your questions as much as possible. And literally the last 7 times we've done this, there's been hiccups in the actual live process. I've done all of the setup that I know to do, tried different settings each time. Still hiccups happen. I really apologize for that. It's a little bit out of my control, but I'm so stoked that I have the ability to be able to even chat with you guys in real time all around the world. It's awesome. So if you're joining me for the first time, say hello, tell me where you're from. I literally go through each line on the chat, whether it's during the actual live chat or after. I really want to know where you guys are coming from because that's the point of this, is to get to know you a little bit better. Granted, I can't get to know everybody from everywhere, but I could try. Not really. I just want to get to know you guys here on this live stream as much as possible. And yes, I'm going to be answering your questions, any questions that you have. And if the live stream does cut out, just bear with me. Come back onto the channel. So joincfe.com/YouTube. Hit subscribe and that bell to get notified of live events. The reason I scheduled this event so far in advance had to do with yesterday's event. It was like a disaster, but it actually ended up working out great, and we ended up being on for a while. So I'm happy that it actually ended up a really good thing. One other housekeeping item is I created a Slack channel, and the Slack channel's URL is, let me just go ahead and show you a quick, oh, that's not the live cast I wanted, but here it is right there. And that's cur.co N7XGVN. That is the Slack channel. And if you go to my last video, the April 6th video, you'll see a link there. And I'll also have a link for those of you who are watching this later. I'll have a link for this, the same Slack channel in the description. So with that being said, I actually want to acknowledge my first few people on Slack. That's I believe it's Amir Anwar. Thanks for joining. Gurmeet Singh, thank you for joining. Leo Nishi, Linder Audrey, Anook, Ola Likan. Thank you. Sorry if I pronounce your names incorrectly at any time. It's not my intention. Just trying to get to know you guys. Val Gusev and Wasim Hoke, thank you so much for being the first people on that Slack channel. Now the reason for Slack, the reason I'm using Slack, number one, a lot of you thought it'd be a good idea, so I decided to do it. Number two is I like seeing new technology and seeing how I might apply it somewhere else, right? So I would love for all of you to be on codingforentrepreneurs.com. Absolutely would love that. But there's a reason that some of these other technologies exist, and I want to learn from them so I can take some of those best things and apply them to any of my websites. And I think using them for real, and in a situation like this where I want to get to know you better and help you launch your projects, Slack, it might be that thing. It might be a really good way of allowing us to do that. And I want to see how that technology works, so perhaps I can implement the features that I really like in there, and also what you really like in there, into any other web application I end up building, or specifically into Coding for Entrepreneurs. So that is some housekeeping. Welcome to the live stream. I really appreciate it. I know I'm a little early. I like going early on these live streams, especially because of technical difficulties. That does happen. It does. All right. So without further ado, let's actually jump into some questions. All right, I'm scrolling up on the chat now. Manish, hello. How's it going? Good to see you. Mohammed, do I offer consulting for startup companies? I definitely consider it on a case-by-case basis, and it depends on what the startup is and who the founders are and any sort of conversation we might have. But yes, I'm more likely to do consulting than freelancing. Freelancing takes a lot of my time. Where consulting, we can discuss things, and I actually prefer consulting because there's a lot of questions that can come up, and then I can just basically be playing more of an advisory role than than actually implementing the technology. And the reason for the actual not wanting to do the implementation side has to do with my time, for one. Two, I mean, if I don't get to build what I want to build, I just find it less and less interesting. Whereas advising, I love doing that. Even if I don't end up building it, I love doing that portion. So that's why I take on advising or consulting on a case-by-case basis. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Manish, starting right off the bat, what are your future plans in terms of learning new stuff? What kind of stuff is exciting for you? For me, it's big data, distributed systems. I read an ML paper when I read ML papers when I get time. So the things that are interesting to me in technology, absolutely is artificial intelligence, deep learning, those sorts of things, 100%. The Internet of Things, so IoT devices and robotics, drones. Big data is also interesting, but I think that feeds right into machine learning and deep learning. Let's see, what else? Distributed systems or blockchain technology, those sorts of things are also very interesting. But beyond that, I'm also very interested in marketing, like YouTube stuff. I've been doing a lot more on YouTube because I've seen the power that we can have, like actually connecting. And prior to recently, YouTube has always been sort of a back burner thing. I definitely still supported it and try to put as much, or I put a good amount of content on there too. But now what I'm trying to do is really connect with you more, because over this process, you start to wonder why you're doing the things you do, right? And for me, it always goes back to the beginning. Like, why did I start Coding for Entrepreneurs? The reason for that was because I believe so much in technology, and I also believe that we as humans are more capable than we often realize. And that was my case, right? That happened to me. Totally going on a tangent, but I went back to thinking why did I start Coding for Entrepreneurs? Is to help people launch their projects, period. So that's what I'm doing now. YouTube is here to help me do that. I'm doing these live streams for that reason as well. But then Coding for Entrepreneurs is there for people who really want to take it to the next level. And that's what it's all about. YouTube is here for those of you who need help and aren't ready to make that investment yet. Totally get it. There's nothing wrong with that. You can learn everything that I do on codingforentrepreneurs.com. You can absolutely learn on YouTube, reading the documentation, reading Stack Overflow, trial and error here and there. But one of the reasons for Coding for Entrepreneurs, I didn't mean to make this like a sales pitch at all, but one of the reasons for that is to save time. That's all I'm going to say about it. Okay, next thing. But I'm interested in a lot of stuff. So marketing is definitely something I'm really interested in. Filmmaking, so I watch a lot of videos and tutorials about filmmaking. I don't necessarily do filmmaking myself, but I do find it fascinating. So I really, when I find this urge or have this urge of learning something new, I like to dive in. Because I talk a lot about perspective and why learning how to code is really, really good for perspective and gathering a new perspective. I would say the same thing for other areas of skill sets, right? So learning how to make films or learning photography will help you with software development. It might not help you directly, but it helps you with this new perspective. If you're really interested in a book on gaining new perspectives, I haven't read it in a long time, but it's called A Whole New Mind by Dan Pink. Really, really good. Listen to the audiobook. That's what I prefer. All right. Sweet Sorrow. Hey, what's up? Love from Pakistan. Hey, what's going on? Love from California. Southern California. I'm not in Northern California like some other people. Technology. Just joking around. I don't know why I said that. Okay, so Shweetank Subham Roy. What's up? Can you tell me about how Django is when a lot of I/O process is involved? Like how well it handles that? How well it handles a lot of I/O? Or are you referring to IoT devices? Please clarify so I can readdress that. Sanmaka, hello, sir. Hello to you. Web Normal, you're from Nepal. Awesome. That's really cool. I am a fan of Nepal, even though I've never been there. I've heard great things from friends that love to travel. That's the same thing with Tunisia. Abdullah Chamak. Is that how you pronounce it? Hello. Garv Gupta. Hello, Justin. Love from India. Hello, Garv. India, representing India. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's somewhere I'll have to go at some point in the future. A good friend of mine tells me that I need to go there all the time, especially when I was traveling for a while. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I was working and traveling throughout Europe for a little while. I lived there, and I almost went to India, but I decided to come back to the United States a little bit early before my brother's wedding. So then I kind of been here in the U.S. as far as living is concerned since then, and that was a few years ago. Divyesh finally in the live chat without any 500 server error from YouTube. Awesome, that's great. So you're from Gujarat? Gujarat, is that how you pronounce it? The west coast of India? Awesome, that's cool. I'm from the west coast of the United States. West coast is the best coast, in my opinion. Does it really matter? It doesn't matter. I think you end up loving where you're from for the most part, or you love where your new identity is, right? So if you move somewhere new and you're like, I'm established here, you love that. Like my brother lives in New York. He loves New York. I don't think he's ever coming back to California. Okay, so Harshit Jan, hello, sir. You're from India. Wow, a lot of India. Gurmat Singh from India. What's up? Welcome, guys. Yeah, so a lot of representing from India. If you get more specific, that'd be cool too, right? So like, because India's a big country, right? So I like that specificity of Gujarat. Andrew, you're from Ukraine, and you're waiting for new Django lessons. Did you watch the one from a couple days ago? Or are you looking for like big time ones? They're coming, I promise. I've been doing a lot of this stuff. So doing these live streams does take away from actually building that content. To some degree, the only thing it doesn't take away from is helping you guys. And that's been my goal from day one. So that's also why. But I promise I will have some new Django stuff in the near future. Hello, sir. I'm facing some issues with my project. For example, I have a search bar on my website. Users can type anything, and that will return the results from Google search. So you want to have a Google search inside of your website. I think Google might even have some plugins for this. Maybe somebody else can pipe in here. But I think you might even be able to use Google plugins for that specifically. Now, if you're talking about having Django do the Google search and have those results come back, I'm not sure if that's possible. It might be. I've just never done it. Hopefully it helps. Sir Festus, hello from Kenya. What's up? Welcome. Heard great things. But don't we all love like where we're from originally, or at least our nostalgia about it? Maybe not everybody. I mean, I realize that sometimes you are from somewhere that isn't great and then you get out. But once you get out and you establish... Oh, a little blurry. Sorry about that. Once you get out and then you establish a new identity, don't you love that place? I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know. You tell me. Gurmat Singh, you're following my e-commerce course. Just loving it. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy it. Put a lot into that one. That's the most comprehensive thing I've ever made. Seriously. And I think it's so much of it has to do with questions over the years. And just like it needed to happen. I'm not sure if I'm going to make something that comprehensive in the near future. I mean, it's just so much. So the nice thing about it too is that I can just refer people to it because there's a lot there. Ibrahim, hello from Sweden. Hello, welcome. Vim Cooper Gonzalez, you're from the Philippines, but currently you're in Saudi Arabia. Oh, nice. What was the reason for that move, Vim? Sir, can you make a video on how to integrate Angular 4 and Django with authentication present in that? So my suggestion to you is watch the video that we made recently about integrating Django with any JavaScript frontend. Literally go to the recent uploads. It's like 3 or 4 videos ago, maybe even 2. Check out that video. And then as far as the authentication side is concerned, watch our Build a REST API, whether it's on YouTube or our courses, joincv.com/courses. And you'll see how to do authentication from the API. And then all you have to do is integrate those things together and use Angular to actually handle the authentication side of things by adding it to a header, most likely. And of course, I have all this stuff in joincv.com/courses Django plus Angular plus Ionic. That course specifically does do all of that in detail. But thank you for the suggestion. I do appreciate it. So what's next? Harish, hello everyone. Hey, what's going on? Harish, Yo-Yo from Asia. Asia is a big continent, so Yo-Yo, where in Asia? Clint Street, what's up, Clint? Welcome back. Hey, how's it going? Ragib from Bangladesh. Cool, awesome, good stuff. Welcome. Janu, hey, if someone is working on a data visualization project using Django and Postgres, do you recommend Django query sets to pull the data and display via HTML, or do you recommend Django REST? If you're using a good amount of data, I would use a REST API endpoint myself, because it still uses a query set, but then it serializes that query set into JSON, and then you can consume that JSON with your JavaScript front end. So that's what I would do. And data visualization often does exactly that, versus like rendering the context as a context variable in your template. Sorry, my hair keeps flipping. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Wanu. Oh, whoa. One simple little scroll and it goes to the very bottom. Okay. Divyesh. Hello, Justin from India. Wanted to join your Slack channel or Discord. Do you think I should keep going with JavaScript, or long-term Python will benefit more if I've graduated? Okay, so Python is super popular right now, so there is a lot of momentum behind it, and I think that's where I would go if I was starting out. But it also depends on what your interests are. If you're wanting to build more for web, and you already have a good solid foundation with backend technology like Python and Django, then learning JavaScript would probably be a very good idea. Now, as far as long term, I don't know. Python has been gaining a ton in popularity, and I think it's just surpassed Java as the most popular language to learn, and maybe even the most popular language in general. If someone knows, please let me know. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would do Python. I mean, that's what I do right now. So how can I not recommend it? But it goes back to what your interests are and what you find more appealing. Like if you like JavaScript more, then do JavaScript. I did talk about this yesterday as a little bit longer of a rant. So if you want to watch that live stream from yesterday, if you get really, really good at one thing, you will be able to get an awesome job, period. Anywhere in the world. That's what I believe. But you have to be willing to turn down a mediocre position for a great one, or take a mediocre position so you can make money or make a living, and then look for that great one that whole time, or just keep on refining your skills, put stuff out there, and put stuff out there in the sense of publish things on GitHub, make a portfolio, make a website, have a blog where you talk about all of these things, or a YouTube channel where you talk about these things too. Yeah. Web Normal, I was doing a project for a client I thought I would complete, but I couldn't. Now it's been a year. I'm disappointed with myself, not motivated at all, and lost. Web Normal, I don't know if that's your real name, but I totally hear you. I understand that sometimes you think that you're going to be able to complete something and it's just way beyond the scope of your skill set, or the client needs too much and too little of a time. So I'm going to pose a question to you, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to start coding again? How likely are you to start building projects again? And whatever that number is, why isn't that answer lower? Right? I just did a podcast about this, and you want to think about it in the sense of, if the number was lower, if it's a 0 or if it's beyond that, then start thinking about things that you can do. And I would imagine working out, or going for a run, a jog, a hike, maybe even doing some meditation. I don't personally do it, but a lot of these things will help you get out of this funk, right? So you think about your motivation, so that scale of 1 to 10 thing, and why the number isn't lower. Not why isn't it higher, why isn't it lower? Because once you think about why isn't it lower, like why isn't it a negative 5,000? If it's a negative 500, why isn't it a negative 5,000? You'll start to have some reasons as to why it's at the point that it is, And then your motivation, I believe, will increase naturally because you're starting to motivate yourself. You're starting to come up with those reasons as to why you did it in the first place or why you had motivation in the first place. The next thing is like changing your state or your body, right? Going out there and just doing something different with your body will make a big difference in the way you feel, and that might help get you motivated. So if you've never been exhausted from working out, go get exhausted from working out. If you haven't been in a while, do it. I mean, it doesn't matter if you are super out of shape or in super great shape. Going and working out will help that. And also doing a completely different activity than you normally do. And maybe hanging out with different people too. Or watching different things on YouTube. So from people that have done it. I mean, honestly, it's great. Sometimes those are the things. So don't give up. And we all don't succeed all the time, right? So I have a little daughter. She's 10 months old. And she does not know how to walk yet. But she tries. So she gets up, she falls down, she gets up, she falls down. And I'm sure you may have heard this anecdote before, but it's amazing seeing the determination in her. She just doesn't understand what quitting or failure or motivation or disappointment, she doesn't understand what those things are yet. So she just keeps going because she knows what she wants. And if you get clear about what you want, I think everything that you fail from is just going to make you better and better and better. And, you know, every once in a while, you have to get that to realize what you're made of, because I know all of us, every single human in this world is made of so much, and we can make a lot of things happen. Okay, good luck, WebNormal. Rant over. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I think you got this. Janu is from Denver. What's up, Janu? Thanks for the shout out from Denver. I like Colorado a lot. Definitely don't spend enough time there. Thanks for coming out. Rohan, any insights on Django OAuth toolkit for authorization? Any good tutorial videos or when to use it? It depends on if you need OAuth or not. So it's a great tool though. It really is. So if you need OAuth, their guide, I think their setup guide is pretty good. And when you would want to use it is when you are building a REST API and you may be opening your API to third parties, so other developers using your API. That's probably when you're going to want to use the OAuth toolkit. So OAuth is similar to like doing like when you use Facebook for a login or Google for a login. They typically use OAuth to grant your permissions or that user's permissions to doing stuff. I know, Manish, I'm using Windows. Yes, I've been working in general on a Mac. So my thoughts on Windows are, I think a lot of times in my own experience, it doesn't work as clean as a Mac does. Like Macs just seem to work constantly very, very well. And this is probably my own biased opinion because I really like their interface. I like how it works. I like the way it looks. I like all these things about it. But, and this is the biggest problem, and this is probably something a lot of you hardcore developers out there know, you can't really upgrade it. It's stuck. It is what it is. Mac or Apple is very much like, here's what we have done. So I've been getting into more AI deep learning stuff, and I wanted a very powerful GPU. Now you can attach this GPU to a laptop, a Mac laptop, which is what I have, but you sacrifice a lot there. So I ended up going the Windows route, and I'm actually a big fan of it at this point. But that's only for my desktop. I mean, if I only had one computer, I would probably still have a Mac laptop. But I have two computers. One is for stuff like this, and also for deep learning things, because I really wanted that powerful GPU. So yes, I got a Windows. I'll probably end up also having a Linux server for my house. I haven't done that yet, but it is something I've highly considered, because it'd be really cool to have like my own control, like I control my entire security system using deep learning things, OpenCV and all this stuff, and my own server. But that's a lot of maintenance, and it's kind of a big project. So I'm not sure if or when I'll end up doing it. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. So thanks for noticing that. I appreciate it. Harsha, can we have a create view and lost? Not sure what you mean by that. So please clarify. Divyesh, what projects do you think indulges machine learning in web AOLs? I don't know what you mean by that. Or web apps. What projects do you think... Oh, what projects do I think uses? Maybe that's what you mean. Indulges is not necessarily something we always use for in the United States for uses. But maybe you do. So machine learning in your web apps. So a lot do, right? A lot use machine learning for it that you might not even think about. But a lot of times really good recommendation systems, when they are actually on point and they're not random, like Coding for Entrepreneurs is, when they're not random, then you will most likely have some sort of machine learning stuff. And the other part is too, if you're getting a lot of like automated emails. So if you visit a site, let's say for instance you visit an e-commerce site and they ping emails to you that are related to products that you looked at, sometimes that's machine learning, sometimes it's not. It's in a lot of places. So basically you're going to want to think about it in the sense of how smart does this thing seem like it is? So if you do a search on there, is it improving the next time you do it? That's usually what machine learning is. If you see improvement from the website that's like a one-to-one, that's like basically to you, that's most likely machine learning. So obviously Google uses it with their search engine, and there's just a lot. So I think it's not always that easy to recognize if it's machine learning or if it's just pre-programmed that way. Obviously machine learning has programming too, but it's a different kind, right? Okay, so Harash, you clarified a little bit later how to use a create view and a list view together. So you would actually use a create mixin and a list view, and then you have to implement the post method using return self.create, and then that's it. Hopefully that makes sense. Harshit, any help log in using Django auth token? I think I already talked about this, so maybe I'm getting a duplicate there. Pretkit, do I have a Discord server? No, I do not. Raul, how to apply for a job in the US? You're international. I don't have that. If you're not in the United States, I don't know that answer. I'm sorry. It looks like Pretkit gave you an example. Yeah, that's probably what it is. You apply, and then some company in the U.S. would give you a visa sponsorship, I would imagine, if they need you to come here. Or you just stay there and work there. That's what I think. Clint, I set up Apache on FreeBSD and installed Django in MySQL for development process. Should I be going to all this trouble, or should I just use the tools built into Django for development? Yeah, follow your effort. I mean, if you find something that you're like, hey, I kind of want to implement that, do it. And after you do it and you go through it and you're like, hey, you know, this was a lot of work. I'm gonna back up a little bit. You can do that too, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's really important to foster your skills after you know something. It sounds like by what you're asking, you have a really good base of how to use Django. Now, if you were an absolute beginner and you were talking about this stuff, I'd say no, stick with some of the basics, the built-in tools for Django for deployment or development, excuse me, and deployment, right? So, but it sounds like by the way you're phrasing your question, it sounds like you know generally what you're doing. But I just got done saying that I want the security system and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, think about when you maintain things, when you maintain more things, it ends up being a lot more challenging. Plain and simple, and it takes up more time. So factor that in when you work on your development environments. I mean, I don't do that. What you just said, I don't do that. I don't need to. Okay, so craziness noob. Hello, I have two questions. First one is Django. Is that Django being such a nice and awesome framework is not so popular as PHP and Node.js. Well, PHP has been around. PHP and Node.js, I think both of them have been around longer than Django. PHP, I mean, it's just been around a long time, and WordPress has used it. I'm not sure if they still do, and then so is Facebook. So these websites that have been around for a long time as well, I think continue to fuel that popularity, especially like WordPress, right? So WordPress is one of the most used blogging platforms in the world, if not the most used. And I mean, it's like probably like 30 or 40% of all websites is running on WordPress. So that uses PHP. So inevitably, or at least it used to, I think it still does. Inevitably, PHP will have some popularity because of that. Node.js is a function of JavaScript being very, very popular. Now, Django, the reason it's not as popular is because Python has just recently hit this upward tick. So naturally, all of the packages in Python are also following that same upward trend. So I would say Django is rapidly becoming just as popular, if not more popular, than PHP and Node.js. But I don't know, why does that even matter? They're all three of them are really popular. I personally think that Django's the best out of the three of them. But, you know, someday I might change my mind on that because, you know, a lot of great people are working on these technologies and they might get them better. Okay, second question, is that the $5 hosting at DigitalOcean enough for 1,000 visitors per day? It depends on what your visitors are doing, I'd say. So if they're doing a lot of stuff and they're requiring a lot of bandwidth, and also you have your project set up, if you have your project set up in a good way, then you should be fine, at least to start. But I would monitor it. I mean, you might have to scale up a lot. So that's why I would say, hey, opt for $7 and use Heroku and upscale there. I do like DigitalOcean. There's nothing wrong with DigitalOcean, but you have to do a lot more DevOps stuff that maybe you're just not ready to do yet. So that that $2 difference makes a huge difference in using Heroku, so you can upscale from there. That's where Coding for Entrepreneurs is hosted. CodingForEntrepreneurs.com is hosted on Heroku, and I would love to have affiliate of Heroku, but I don't. I just don't. Maybe they have a plan. You guys let me know if you find them. I don't know why you would, but I don't think they do. Devesh asks, are comments stopped? No, comments should still be going. Maybe under the video the comments aren't going, so you have to go to the live chat. I'm not actually sure about that. But yeah, live chat should still be fine because you're asking it here. Comments on the video will happen after the video posts to YouTube and the live stream's done. So it happens, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes later. Asan asked, hello, Justin, I'm a beginner of data science. How do you advance in data science? Do you have any links or suggestions? So how do you get better at data science? Well, a big part of this is there's actually a cool website called Kaggle. That's Kaggle.com. There's a lot of machine learning and data science-esque competitions there. So to get advanced in it, you could try to do those competitions. They are complicated. They are challenging. Sometimes they require you to know deep learning. That's one thing. I would also consider learning pandas and learning it very, very well. That's Python pandas. And also NumPy. The other part is, like, do you know statistics? Do you know advanced mathematical, concepts other than statistics, or both? Like calculus, do you know that? These sorts of things do come up when it comes to be better at data science. But when it relates to programming, pandas, NumPy, scikit-learn, then you can even do deep learning libraries like TensorFlow or PyTorch or Keras. That's how you would start to advance. Datacamp.com is a really good place to check out as well. That's data, D-A-T-A, camp, C-A-M-P.com. Awesome service. They have a lot of really good stuff in Python as well as Go. Simone asks, part 1, you know how big tech companies save all the data the user posts, regardless if they delete it. How do you do that with Django? You just don't delete it. You change how your query sets work, and you don't actually run model.delete. I mean, you could override the model.delete method, But you could also just have an object, or a field on any given model that says like active, and you turn active to being false. And then your query set, your all query sets or any query sets, you just make sure active is true. And then that way your users will only see the ones that are active, but the actual item will still exist in the database. I don't know if I would do that necessarily. I mean, it depends on what it is you're using it for, because there's the ethics of the thing, right? So if somebody thinks that they deleted something personal or private or whatever, I think it's probably better to actually delete it, ethically speaking, right? Because what would be worse, right? That you delete some information and you're kind of bummed that you can't do analysis on it, or you don't delete some information and then it leaks to all of your users, and then they're like, what? I've been deleting all this stuff and you guys still keep it? That's not cool. That's not cool. Plain and simple. So yeah. Okay. Garv, I just answered this about data science with the Python language. I gave you some resources there too. Data Camp, I have no dog in the fight there, but again, I want to help you guys get your things going, so check it out. Divyesh, for international jobs, one should check out Indeed.co. Indeed.com is a job site, so it looks like they have one for international as well. It's pretty cool. Okay, Adrian, hello, what's up? Swank by IO, I mean input output. Yeah, I realized that you meant input output, but do you mean input output from requests, or do you mean input output from like a IoT device? That's the question that I'm trying to ask you. Thanks, Sweet Tank. Raul, how to add preloaders to the website. Love from India. Preloader is being what exactly? Like, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? I have an idea of what you mean by preloaders, but I'm curious as to what it is. Oh, so somebody's asking about the Slack channel again. I will copy the link and put it in the web chat right now. Okay, it's the cur.co link, and it's at the very bottom. So that will bring you into the Slack channel, Sweet Sorrow. It's also going to be on the comments of the video below once it posts, and it's going to be on the comments for a little while at least. What is your resources that you learn from? A lot of it is from experience, right? So when I want to do something, I try and figure out how to do that, and that's one way. Another way is YouTube. I use YouTube just like you guys to learn certain things. And it's not necessarily just code related. Sometimes it's other things. I do buy courses from here and there from different websites and whatnot. I mean, like there's a lot. There's a lot of places that you can learn from. And I mean, when I find one that I find halfway decent, I jump in and do it. Manish asks, is Silicon Valley really a bubble? I don't know. Maybe, yes, probably. There's a lot of argument that it is, and then there's some argument that tech is just at the very beginning right now because of a lot of the things that are coming. So perhaps it's a bubble, perhaps it's not. Hard to say. Local boy VJ, what's up, man? Welcome back. Or what's up, girl? Welcome back. Sorry, don't mean to jump into who you are, but by the analytics, the chances are really, really good that most of you are men. That's what the analytics show on everywhere. Sweet Tank, Subham Roy. I've taken a course of yours on Udemy. How's it different learning over here than on Udemy? Yeah, so why is it different learning on YouTube? I talk to more people on YouTube than I do on Udemy. Udemy, I have a lot of thoughts on it overall, and that's why I kind of push people more towards using YouTube or my own website. Just take that as it is. Because I'm all about helping you guys learn, and these sorts of methods are for that, and also getting your projects going. So Next one. Adrian says, hello from Cameroon. Hello. Cameroon. I can't say I know where Cameroon is, unfortunately. Oh, you're in Africa. Central Africa. Cool. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Let me know. But hello, welcome. Simone, what's the difference between Celery and Cron? Well, Cron is a task scheduler that can do all sorts of things, not necessarily Python specific. Celery can schedule tasks, but not necessarily need to. Cron can probably do other things too, but that's all I know it for. Celery is a Python package. Cron is built into a lot of Unix servers. I'm not sure if Windows has it in by default. It probably doesn't. So there are some overlapping concepts. Celery itself tends to use a message broker, so like RabbitMQ or Redis. Cron doesn't rely on those things. So you'd kind of use Cron to like run a Python command, for example, or another, like a bash script command or something like that. Tan Nguyen Ba. Hello, you are Vietnamese. Hello, nice to meet you. Hello from let's see. So do you pronounce the B? Hopal, India, or Bhopal, India? Would I suggest any book for Django? If yes, which one? All right, it depends. Part of it depends on where you're at. And the only book that I've really gone through, because I don't actually read a whole lot of Django books at this point, but this author I do pick up every once in a while because he is a trainer of trainers, if you will. His name's Daniel Greenfield, and he wrote and writes 2 Scoops of Django. So the 2 Scoops of Django version, I mean, even the old one, 1.8, you'll still learn a lot from. Sure, some of the syntax from Django itself are a little bit different, but Django, I think he has one for 1.11. So yeah, I would recommend that one as far as a book is concerned. Anton, hello from Russia. Hello, welcome. Good to have you out. Where in Russia are you from? Just curious. Gaza Imp, if a person is focusing on being a Django-only developer, what things should be publicly shared on his Bitbucket accounts for prospective clients and employers? You would want to showcase your skills. So if you're a Django-only developer, then showcase all the things you can do in Django. And perhaps you write blog posts too that relate to any given repo that you might share. So if you have a blog post that sort of explains that repo, and then in that repo you link to that blog post, that might be a good idea. You could also put your blog post in the README file on what that project's for. And I would just highlight the various aspects of everything that you know. Literally, with Django. Like, go through everything you know and make a whole series about it and put it on GitHub. And then also make like the best project you've ever made and put that on GitHub too, or use the Heroku free account and then have it linked there. And of course, if you use a Heroku free account, you're just sort of doing like it's like a toy account, but it's more of like a portfolio display. That way, your employers or future employers might check that out, or clients even. That's what I would do. But you also might want to comment on other GitHub accounts, or you also might want to say, hey, here's a good idea for you, I think, is make a README file that says, or a markdown file that says, here are the top 10 Django projects right now, and here's why. Put a date on it. Do that again in 6 months, 3 months, whatever. And even if the things are very similar, you can do that over and over again. So then your clients or potential employers might actually learn from you directly. Funny thing, I'm in this class for deep learning. I'm taking a deep learning class myself. Like, I need to learn it. And there's just a lot of complicated things that I don't know that much about. But I was asking one of the fellow students, like if they know of like some sort of acronym means for deep learning, and they sent me my own post on Coding for Entrepreneurs. They had no idea. I'm almost positive they had no idea that I wrote that post, but they sent it to me. It was funny and awesome at the same time. I think they misunderstood what my question was, but it was still awesome. So yeah, I mean, I like I said, I take courses myself. I still have to get better, and I try to learn from the best out there, and then distill it in my own way for you guys. In some cases, in other cases, I just go through a bunch of stuff. Like with Django, I'm trying to remember the last time I watched somebody else's Django tutorial to actually learn something. It's been a while. Learn something about Django, I should say, because you can learn something from other people all the time, and I try to do that, including you guys. You ask great questions, so it helps me learn. So Mohammed, hello from Nigeria. Thanks for coming out. Your content is best. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. Oslo, Norway in the house. AliX. I have been to Oslo. Oslo is cool. I was only there for a little while because I was studying at the Copenhagen Business School at the time, and a big group of us went to Oslo on a little cruise ship for a weekend. It was really short. It sounds like a lot more fancy than it was, but it was cool. Oslo's really, really awesome place. Really, it can be very cold there though, and that's why I live in Southern California, because it's even in winter it gets up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is probably like 38 degrees Celsius, something like that, in the middle of winter. It's awesome. That's why I like living here. It's part of the reason. I also grew up here, so that makes a big difference too, probably. Did you refer to any Django books while you were learning yourself, or what would you suggest for someone with doing a few basic projects? Yeah, so if I think back to when I was learning, I did most things online. I didn't actually buy books. So I was reading posts, whether they're blog posts or Stack Overflow, or even just trying things myself. I did watch some YouTube videos. This guy made some, one of them was Kenneth Love, if you know who that is. He's taught for a long time, and I think he was teaching at Treehouse for a little while, and I don't think he's doing that anymore. I learned from him with some things a while back, because he was doing it. He was doing it well before I was. So at least 6 or 7 years ago, probably. And then another guy named Hacked Existence. I don't actually know what his name is, but his YouTube channel still exists. So you can check out those guys and some of their older stuff if you want. That's where I was learning. I also used the djangobook.com or djangobook.com. That had, I think, some good references back then. This was years ago. I think it was Django version 1.3 is what I was learning. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Maybe it was 1.2. I don't know. And so I did those things. And then as far as books are concerned, I just mentioned one. But, I think one of the things about a book, especially when you're learning, is there might be a little bit of a disconnect between actually doing the code and what it says in the book. That's why I think videos are so great. But I realize a lot of you are interested in books and like using books. So I don't have any to recommend. I'm actually curious, a question for you guys. Should I make one? Do you want to see me make a book on the absolute basics of Django? If you do, let me know in the comments or the chat. Sorry, not the comments. The chat or the comments, depending on when you're watching. Nikhil, hello and love from India. Hello and love from California. Thanks for joining us. Between AWS and DigitalOcean, which one do you prefer? That's a hard question to answer. I think AWS overall, because there's just so many things that you can do with it. DigitalOcean, their team is great. They have a lot of really good. They have a really good reputation overall, so they both do. So it's a tough one to pick, to be honest with you. But DigitalOcean's team is very responsive, and I actually haven't had to talk to AWS's team a whole lot, so they might be as well. Let me know your experience, but it's really hard to say. But AWS, you probably see it yourself. They release things all the time. Arim, you say, hello, my name is Joe, or I'm Joe from Kenya. What suggestions do you have for device registration using Django? So this is probably for push notifications. Is that what it is? Or are you trying to get them to associate their phone number with Django? I think there are actually some packages for it. I'm trying to remember what they were. I actually don't remember. So look up Django and Firebase. I think there's probably a third-party package for Django and Firebase for push notifications that you might be able to use for specific device registration. Or you can use Twilio if you're trying to do that phone number registration. Elvis asks, what do I think about PHP? I don't particularly like PHP. I like Django a lot better. I like Angular a lot better. I even like React better, even though I don't use React a whole lot. And of course, Angular and React aren't backend frameworks, or aren't backends like PHP could be. So I would say that Django is better, Node.js is better, Ruby on Rails. That's my own personal experience. So I think PHP is one of those languages that has stuck around, but I don't know if it's going to be the leader again. Maybe it will. I hope it does, because it's nice to see things change. But in the meantime, I love Python, so I don't think Python's going anywhere. But I do like when things change because it gives you a new challenge and hopefully a new perspective on things in general. Vlad asks, what do I think about Pyramid and SQL Alchemy? Haven't used either one a whole lot, so I don't have much of an opinion about them. Sorry, Vlad. I know that doesn't really answer your question, but I'm sure there's some people that have used it quite a bit here on YouTube, so maybe check those out. Sarab asks, hey, Justin, thanks for creating good courses, or thank you for the statement. I appreciate it. Glad to have you here. LAX, let's have a Django live coding session. Whoa. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of shy away from actually coding live. Big part of it's not so much of that. I don't want you guys to see exactly how it's done. So it's not like I'm afraid of it in any way, but the problem that I've found with live is that a lot of the people watching get lost, and then we have to stop the live and slow down for the people who aren't getting lost. So there's a big range as to where all of you are in this like Django understanding. And the reason I haven't done something live on YouTube for coding is because of that. That big range causes some questions to be super advanced and some to be super basic. And neither question is good nor bad, but it does change the conversation quite a bit. Perhaps I need to maybe if I end up doing a live one, perhaps I need to make it very specific as to whom it's for. But I've taught live, I've taught in-person software live, and I don't know. I just don't feel like it's the best way for most of us to learn. That's why I'm doing these live Q&As where it's more of like a workshop. It's like, hey, ask me some stuff and we'll do it. If more of you want to see Django live coding sessions, let me know, probably in the comments here. Just tell me all the time that you want to see more of it. AliX, that includes you. I know we've talked a few times. I think it's still this. I think it's been you this whole time. But let me know more often with these suggestions, because the more I hear it, the more likely it's going to happen. But I'd rather do these sort of workshops because, as you even see with these questions, some of them, like for example, the one about create view and list view together versus like device registration. They're like on the not exactly the opposite ends, but one's a little bit more advanced, one's a little bit more beginner. So yeah, that's part of it all. Okay. Thanks for the suggestion, though. I appreciate it. Divyesh says, hey, Justin, it's motivating to see that you learn from your little cutie kiddo. I like to think we all would like to know how you manage your work, YouTube, personal life. So, yeah, I think when you know and you have clarity of what you want in life, work and personal life intertwine. Right. So I personally don't separate work from life that often. Like, so for example, when I am hanging out with my family, yeah, I'm not really working much, but I'm still thinking constantly. And I also know that when I have to be present and in the moment, I am. And I just cut off and try to cut off everything else. Like right now, I am very much present and in the moment with you because we're doing this live stream. I'm not answering anything else. I'm literally just looking at the live chat right here on my monitor and talking to you. So I do the same sort of thing when I'm with my family. And if there's lulls where I can like if there's just nothing going on, I can check my phone and respond to things. I do. I try to do that as much as possible. So managing work, on the other hand, so let me think back to this. In 2007, this book called The 4-Hour Workweek came out, and I thought it would be great to have a job that I didn't work on very often. But since then, I've reframed this in understanding that I don't want a job. I want something that I love doing. And if I love doing it, then it's not a job. Then it's like fun. It's more pursuing my passion, right? Like, I love doing this. This is great. I love helping you guys. I love learning new code, and I love teaching. So it doesn't feel as much like work to me as other jobs might, right? So for example, I recently had to do all of my taxes here in the United States, and that was a job, right? If I could automate that, it'd be great. And eventually I probably will, meaning I'd have somebody actually do it for me from the get-go, and then I just review it and boom, done. So that's more of something I have to manage and just set aside time just to make it happen and get it done. So to me, so much of what I do for my work and my life are very much intertwined, and I have a very supportive spouse and, of course, a supportive family. So all of those things do make a difference in what I do. But it's really not that hard to manage these things because I know what I want and I have an idea of how to get there. And on top of that, I love what I do. So hopefully all that helps. Let me know if you have more questions on that. Happy to answer it. Laurencio, maybe? I just learned vanilla JavaScript in ES6. Where to go now? Learn a framework like React, Angular, or backend. What are your goals? That would be my question to you. Like, you know vanilla JavaScript in ES6. Do you want to learn more JavaScript or more sort of frameworks, or do you want to try out a backend? I would say if you know vanilla JavaScript really well, trying out a backend might be a good thing for you because then you can get some diversity in doing the front end and the back end and start building some real stuff. One of the creators of Django himself, I don't think he works on the Django team anymore, but he works almost exclusively in vanilla JavaScript. So he doesn't really use these frameworks because they seem to be popping up the JavaScript frameworks in particular, or the front-end frameworks, seem to be popping up constantly. Cool. Devesh, it would be pretty cute to know how much your wifey or kids get annoyed when you're all dipped in Python and Django the whole day. Yeah, so my daughter's not old enough to really get annoyed yet, so she doesn't really notice it. But my wife, she's super supportive, but she doesn't particularly love technology like I do, which gives us a nice balance. So she definitely, the fact that she is so supportive is great. We do talk about things a good amount, but we don't. I have the ability to separate it and talk about our shared interests. So I don't. She just doesn't really get annoyed with it. I mean, sometimes she'll check out, right? So like we'll talk about it and she'll just be like, okay. But that's true with even my entrepreneurial friends, like the ones that have some interest in this. And that might be true for you guys too. Like you might just check out and then it's like, all right, let's move on to a new topic. So yeah, I mean, but I like a lot of different things. I have very diverse interests and stuff. So it's not just software. So I'm happy to talk about other things too. And that's a big part of all this. It's like, I think fostering interests in a variety of areas is a very healthy thing to do. So you don't drone on, right? Yeah. Sabur asks how to port one library written in CPP, or I'm guessing C++, from 32 bits to 64 bits. I have no idea. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm sure somebody's written a blog post about that. Sorry, don't know. Don't know what to tell you. But I would potentially post that on Stack Overflow if it's not already there. Because a C++ developer would probably be able to better assess that. How much time is required to familiarize yourself? I'm assuming this is what you're saying, heroes, with Django and Flask. Well, Django and Flask do roughly the same thing. Like their goal is roughly the same, and that is to build a web application. So I would stick to one of those things. And how much time to get familiar? Well, that's impossible for me to say because I don't know how much you know of programming. I don't know how much you know of Python. If you're like amazing at Python, maybe you learn Django in a day. If you're not, maybe it takes you 6 months or a year or longer. It's hard to say. That's a tough question to answer. How can we integrate machine learning code written in Python into a Node.js or a React.js app? So there's a couple ways on how you can do this. Number one, you can make a microservice that has a RESTful API or a REST API that Node.js can call for any sort of machine learning code to run that. Or you can use a third-party service like AWS or Google Cloud Engine to actually, run your machine learning code as well. Yeah. Flutter versus React Native. Flutter I haven't heard much about, so probably React Native for that reason. All ears for other people to vote on that one. I mean, honestly, if you have an opinion on any of these like versus ones, just let us know. I mean, people can chime in. If you're going to build a Linux server for your house, please teach us also. Oh, interesting. You guys want to know about that too. Cool. Maybe I just have to do it now and make it as a class. That might be really, really cool. Sweet. And the other part of it would be like, having like facial recognition technology for my own family, and then maybe it starts recording some cool stuff just for a little bit, so I can make a vlog automatically. I mean, one of my dreams is having an automated studio, right? So like it's somewhat automated, but it'd be really cool to walk in here right now and just be like, hey, go live. And I could walk around, I could move, and the camera stays on me, it's perfectly on me, and the audio's perfect, and the lighting's perfect. Like all of those things should be automated through technology, and it shouldn't be that expensive. I'm hoping eventually a home Linux server would be able to do that. I mean, it's something I'm super interested in. So if you're interested in it too, join my Slack channel or the Slack channel for Coding for Entrepreneurs, and perhaps we need to make a actual channel dedicated to that. And if you do, go ahead and make a channel dedicated to that, like an automated Linux server studio thing. And perhaps we can start sharing resources on how to make all that stuff happen. If you're interested in it too, maybe you're not. I don't know. But cameras, HD quality cameras, like the camera I'm talking to you on, that thing is like $50 now. And you can also buy Raspberry Pi cameras. They're like even smaller. I think they're like $25. Maybe they're not HD cameras, but these web cameras are getting really, really good. And a big difference into making things look better has to do with lighting, right? So I have lighting right there, as you can probably tell. And then there's also a light behind me, which gives sort of that glow on this backdrop here. Now, if it was completely dark in here, this would actually look a lot cooler. So I've done some tests at nighttime, and it does that. So it's almost 11:30 a.m. For me, and I have a window right here, so that's another area of light. But it'd be so awesome to have an automated studio, and then it edits everything, and it has great audio. That would be something that I would really, really want to see happen. It's just a lot of work, and at the end of the day, it takes away from everything else. It takes away from my work that I do with you guys, but it also takes away from my family life. And, I do have friends that I see on occasion. Those things are also important to me. So I don't want to work all day, every day. I still want to have a life outside of just working. This kind of goes back to what I was saying before. I mean, sure, I'm mentally sort of working all day to some degree, but then there's times where I just shut it off and I don't. Like I'm not trying to be like Elon Musk. I don't want to work all day every day and have things brought to me all the time. That's just not where I'm at in life right now. Maybe I will be later. Maybe at his age I'll be different. But I kind of feel like at my age, so I'm 30, he probably was doing it then as well. I don't know. I don't think it's healthy to try and work 17-hour days. I just don't. I don't think you're going to get much done. Yeah. Ollie, you've noticed the Coda on text. Yeah. Hey, it's on my shirt. I'm glad you like it. Oh wait, is that what you're referring to? Or are you referring to the YouTube channel? Maybe you're referring to the YouTube channel because that's on there too. What do you guys think of this shirt? Do you like it? It's simple. I like it. I also have a hat that's similar to it. Maybe you've seen it. Is that something that you would even want? I never even thought about selling swag because I don't know. Like I just never heard from any of you saying, "Hey, I really want a Coding for Entrepreneurs shirt." So maybe if we do, maybe we should try it out. Because I mean, I realize that like part of it is like being a part of this tribe, right? Like we've got this community, you know. So maybe that's part of it is like just repping it to show that to the world or just to yourself. That's why I do it. Okay. Back to questions after that long tangent of stuff. Let's see. So how come PyPy 2 and PyPy 3 is different from normal Python 2 and Python 3? And how is it write down from its own compiler in its own language? Golang also does the same. What? Like, why are they different? Well, Python 2 and 3 are different. If that's what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean, honestly. I haven't noticed much of a difference myself, so maybe you're looking into it a lot more than I am. You most likely are. So how does it write down its own compiler in its own language like Golang did the same? I'm actually not sure what you mean by that at all. I didn't know that it did that, if it does. Yeah. Is that something I should know? I don't know about that. Sysadmins on Linux in your house. Well, sysadmindecuba.com, but it's in Spanish. Anyways, you can ask on our Telegram group. Oh, Telegram group. Is that what you guys do? Karatsuki? Do you guys make those things happen? Maybe. Lacan, please, I don't want to save a model with all the models associated inside a create API view. How am I going to go about doing this? You want to save a model with all the models associated with it inside of a... I'm not sure what you mean by that. Sorry. Please rephrase that one. So initially it's built with C, then Go language written itself. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Du vestiaire there. How can I make my own auth app in Django? You want to make an authentication app in Django? There's a few ways, and I'm actually pretty sure that Django's documentation has some reference to make a custom authentication for your app. Cool. Let's see. Charles, Bill Gates recently said that there will be no programmers in the future because of AI or else. What are your views? So, like, artificial intelligence will get to a point, I believe will get to a point where we won't really need programmers like we need them today. But until that happens, we still need them. So that could happen in 20 years. That could happen in 50 years. It could happen in 1 year. Does that mean you don't do something? Well, I don't think so. But that also goes back to the motivation of why you're doing something, right? So I'll tell you, if an artificial intelligence, if they figure out how to make one that replaces everything that I teach about, meaning it can write all of the Django code exactly as you need it, or all of the JavaScript code exactly as you need it, and probably even better than you. Does that mean that I'm going to stop doing these things? No, what that means is I'm going to now leverage that AI to do the things that I want it to do, but also learn from how it does it. I actually like the challenge of programming myself, like of finding out these new and novel things. Now, no programmers in the future, I don't believe that either, because just because AI has taken over, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be programmers. That's what I believe, at least. Bill Gates probably has a better reputation, so he probably is more often listen to if that's actually what he said. Perhaps the reason I think there's still going to be programmers, and there always will be, is because it's a very fascinating field for any individual. And in artificial intelligence, if there is one that could actually program way better than any human or all of humanity, you could learn a lot from it in real time, and it will help you get better. But there's still people who love to solder. There's still people who love to do really complex math without a computer, because these things are built by humans, right? So we all created them. So the challenge in of itself is there. Now, I'm sure Bill Gates refers to a vast majority of programmers doing their job now will not be doing that same job in the future, and that's because of AI. I think that's a good thing, and I also think that learning how to use those things when they come out will be a critical role of those first programmers that decide to do that. But that might be a long ways off. And there's also always going to be someone who's going to need to help the ones that don't understand the technology to move over. So, for example, if you know how to program now and then this AI comes in and just does everything for you, is the person who's not technical at all that's wanting to have a software done, are they going to have the confidence to actually make it happen, even if there is this system that does it for them? The example of that would be, like when Facebook started getting people over the age of 60 on there, those people had to have a lot of help actually making that work, even though some of us or a lot of us just intuitively know how to do it. We didn't have to read guides or anything like that. I would put those things in the same category when it comes to programming as well. It's an interesting topic, but I don't think Bill Gates is Nostradamus. He's not going to. It's impossible to know what the future holds for us when AI comes, and it comes in the way of actually replacing programmers' jobs. But it's something to think about. I mean, I would argue that a programmer's job is to learn the latest technology and leverage it to make projects happen. That doesn't mean that we stick to the software itself. So if an AI came out that wrote software for us, that would be the new programming. It would be to tell the AI what needs to be done, and that's the new role of a programmer. Not necessarily writing the actual code itself. Maybe that's it, but more than likely it's going to be controlling the tools that are out there and making those things happen. Think of it in terms of us using Django. We're using a framework written by code by other people. If you change that framework written by an AI or the entire project written by an AI, we still are going to need to direct it in the way we want it to go, most likely. Maybe not. Maybe it'll do everything for us ever, and we just don't have to do anything ever. That sounds awesome, but I don't know. I don't know if that's that practical in the next 5 years. Maybe in 20 years, maybe in 30. We'll see. I'm really excited about it, though. I think it's going to be awesome. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing what I do now, because we still need everything here. There's still 7,480 million people that do not know how to code and rely heavily on it, or eventually will rely heavily on it. Cool, Clint. Thanks for the answer. Yes, awesome. It is a lot of work, and I think it's purpose for more of a production environment. I'm fairly new to Python. I wanted to focus more on development. Cool. Yeah, I think you have your answer. Awesome. Thanks for the feedback, Clint. Wasimo, hello. Many thanks from your student from Algeria. Hello, welcome. Thank you for the comment. Much appreciated. Subham asks, please make an advanced video on a Django MySQL cluster. Ooh, that's interesting. That would be a solid challenge. I'll say that. I do appreciate the suggestion, though. What should I keep in mind before buying a domain name for my personal website? Well, if you're... Whoa. I just scrolled and then boom, all this stuff comes out. Scrolling back up. Guys, I'm going to be doing about 10 more minutes. Probably 10 more minutes. Okay. Let's see. Personal website. Sorry, I do one little scroll and then a bunch of things load. Okay, there we go. So what should you keep in mind before buying a domain from your personal website? which domain you like. Honestly, I don't think branding and domain names matter nearly as much as you might think, because over time you start to build these things. Every once in a while you might come across a domain name that's really cool and you just buy it and it just sits in your domain account, like I do all the time. I spend a lot of money in domains and I just have a bunch of them sitting there. So I look at them more as a potential investment, right? Much like a real estate developer might look at a plot of land as a potential future development possibility. I look at that with domain names as well, because I still do like the brand names and I still do think that there is some importance to having a specific brand name. But I think more important than what to consider when you're buying a domain name is to just buy one and start building stuff and making something valuable. That's it. Okay. Wadi, hey, what's up from Saudi Arabia? How's it going? Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Hassan, I've answered your first. I guess you know Python really well. Also see Suraj Ravel's YouTube channel, specifically his beginner series, because he'll teach you about the basics of the libraries like TensorFlow. Suraj is a YouTube channel that has a lot of stuff in relation to machine learning, deep learning, and all that. So it's good. Some of it goes really fast, though. Just keep that in mind. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I know that some of it does. Korash Suki, Justin, following your videos and learning as always. Thank you for your teaching. Thank you for the comment. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you've been following. Is IOTA for DApps? Distributed apps, I believe is what you mean. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure what these acronyms are. So please clarify what it is that you're talking about. Okay, cool. So yeah, just a few more minutes. It looks like I just have a ton more questions coming through from you guys. So I'm definitely not going to be able to get to all of them. I'm sorry, guys. This is we've now gone over an hour. This is becoming closer to my longest live session to date. Perhaps the early, like actually letting you know a day in advance helped. Or maybe because it's Saturday. I don't know. Wait, it's Saturday, right? Or is it Friday? No, it's Saturday. My days get blended together because I don't think about Monday to Friday like a lot of workers do. Because I don't live for the... Yeah. Okay. So, Simone, how do I create a constructor method for a model for a certain to be made, i.e. person, UID, model.char field def, create random UID. Okay, so you're asking specifics about code. Check out, I think it's like create unique slug, something like that. You can check that out. It's on our blog, joincfe.com/blog. That probably will help you make a unique random ID. Probably, I would imagine. CTank, I want to use IO with requests from client side. Yeah, so IO from requests. So you want input output. Are you talking about WebSockets? What are you talking about exactly? Because input output could mean several things. If there's a specific library that you're saying IO, like async IO, let me know. But I'm still not fully familiar with you. AliX, you got page not found. Maybe I didn't post the entire link. Sorry about that. Hold on. Yeah, that is the link. I posted the link again. I think that was the right one, but maybe not. Sorry, AliX. Check out the video from yesterday, April 6th. It definitely is on there if you're still getting lost. That's on my YouTube channel, of course. So how much Python do I need to know to learn Django? And also, how can I learn Django faster? You don't actually have to know a lot. Going step by step on Try Django 1.11 will give you an idea of how to actually build a project step by step, showing you literally everything. Cool. Learning it faster, doing it a lot, and reading other people's code and asking a bunch of questions. That's how you'll get it faster. Manish looks like he got some more Yeah, so you're talking about blockchain platform best for distributed apps. I haven't worked a whole lot with blockchain yet, so I don't actually have a really good response for this. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm sure maybe you post this question on Stack Overflow or you look on Stack Overflow, because I would imagine there's been more people that have worked with blockchain. It's just super interesting, and there's definitely a lot of businesses that are just popping up because of it. Yeah, so cool. Thanks, Korasuki. Thank you for that recommendation to Emmanuel. Okay, so the last question I'm going to answer, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit, and I'll say it's from Nitishant Rajan. Okay, that's the last question I'm going to answer, so it's going to scroll down after that. Yeah. Okay, so next one, Devakar, can I use a Django private chat with REST API? Yeah, most likely. So using Django channels would probably be what you'd want. Or actually, no, you'd probably use a WebSocket. So I don't know if you would necessarily use the REST API, but you can use a REST API still, but you would use a WebSocket, not necessarily a REST API for the actual chat process. Deepak says, Justin, please make a video chatting with WebSockets, Django REST, and Angular. Cool. So Django channels, I'm going to do eventually. It's just Django channels 2.0 came out, and I'm waiting for them to release some more bug-related things for it before we jump in just yet. Anish, you asked me yesterday about Elasticsearch. I came to know that its Python binding doesn't utilize it at its finest. I'm ready to learn Java, but tempted to learn something from scratch. I feel lost and confused. By the way, even I'm from Bhopal, India. So you're lost. So you want to learn Java, then go for it. Yeah, I mean, you feel lost and confused. What do you feel lost and confused about specifically? Because, you know, if you stick with something, if you're going too advanced too soon, perhaps that will add to the feeling of lostness. So maybe try and find a project that you're really interested in making, and hopefully it's not super advanced. Hopefully it's not too advanced or beyond your skill level, because then you will absolutely get frustrated and not want to continue. Got a couple messages retracted from MD Amaduddin Parvez. I don't know, maybe it's YouTube, maybe you did it, just letting you know. A couple of those images were retracted, so I can't actually respond to them. Tariq, yes, absolutely, maybe on advanced topics. Sorry guys, what does that mean? A book? Is that what you're talking about? Maybe that's what it was. Yes, make a book. Yeah, that's what you guys are saying. Make a book beyond the basics. Cool. Thanks for the recommendations, guys. Appreciate it. Jeremy asked kind of off topic, but any suggestions for someone wanting to start a business doing tutorials? So you actually want to start teaching people, much like I do, and have a business like I do, where you teach people and you have tutorials and you earn money from it. Yeah, just start building a YouTube channel, making your tutorials. Do it on YouTube first. Do it as fast as you possibly can, and then do it over again and over again and over again. Eventually you will make the same video over again. I've done that so many times because you learn a lot and you can make the quality better. YouTube's a really good ground to see if there's interest there at all, even for free, right? Once you have a better solid base, then you can start to recommend people go to your website and buy your courses, much like I do. And the other part of it is having live events like this. You can ask a lot of questions and you can get a lot of clarification for what you should be building in your tutorials. Thanks for the question. Tafiq asks, I was wondering if you have a tutorial on real-time newsfeed using channels or Pusher or Stream.io. Just mentioned this. Don't have real-time stuff just yet. Doing Django channels soon or in the near future. Thanks for the question. Nupur asks, what do you think about Vue.js? Is it true that it does not have proper TypeScript support? Vue.js has become very, very popular, but like a lot of JavaScript libraries, they seem to just blow up, and then it's like everyone has to know it. Vue.js might fit in there, but it's very popular. A lot of people seem to like to use it. I don't know if it has TypeScript support or not. Haven't looked into that much at all. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, definitely have a lot of questions to go. Sorry, guys. I'm really just not going to be able to get to any more after this one. I'll answer the next 3 questions. Okay. So Nishant asked, any suggestion on digital marketing? Make a great product and then talk to your users or talk to your customers, and that will help you reframe and understand how to make an even better product. That's the best I can do for marketing at this point. There's a lot more I can talk about. So if you're interested in seeing a course or something like that related to marketing and growth, join that Slack channel, go to the suggestions tab and add them there. Thanks for the question. Appreciate it. Elvis asks, what kind of music do you listen to while coding? I listen to Hans Zimmer a lot. Soundtracks like Interstellar soundtrack and also the Inception soundtrack, as well as Dunkirk and some of his other soundtracks. Hans Zimmer is awesome. I really, really like that. Every once in a while, I'll listen to like electronic music. That's not as often. Sometimes I'll listen to The Weeknd, so like rap, hip hop, sometimes that. Rarely do I listen to like classic rock or things with a lot of lyrics, because those lyrics tend to pull me out. So yeah, actually I would say most of the time when I'm coding, I actually don't listen to anything with lyrics. The lyrical ones are usually if I'm like recording and I take a break and I want some music to listen to. That's kind of what it is. Okay, I'll rapid fire some of these things right now. Okay, guys. So Devish, Vanilla.js, do you think there's anything like Vanilla Python other than frameworks and libraries? Not that I know of. That's a great question. Maybe something to post to Stack Overflow. Next one. Chris says, thank you for all the content. You have changed my life. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that I've had some impact on what, your trajectory is. But I will say that without your effort, you wouldn't be able to be saying that. That's what I think. So applaud yourself for the effort. It is awesome. Next one. How to keep doing the coding, because I always take a long break in coding. Breaks are inevitable. I totally understand that. I would make a goal for yourself. Code every day. Listen to my podcast on a scale of 1 to 10 to have a better understanding how to give yourself motivation for that. Can you show us your studio? At some point, yes. Not right now because I'm going to be jumping off. It's really simple. It's just a room. There's a black wall over here. There's a white wall over here. There's a window there. Door, closet. It's actually a room. So studio, room, whatever. I like to work from home. I think it's great because then when I'm done with this, I can go hang out with my family. Isn't that cool? I don't have to drive anywhere. I don't have to walk anywhere. It's awesome. Maybe that's not forever, but that's what it is now. Okay, more rapid fire. What do you think best for a portfolio, small or big? Do you think it's best to stick to Django 1.11? Yeah, so I would stick to the LTS version of whatever you're using. So if it's Django, use the LTS version, which is 1.11, and do small and big. Do a mixture of the size of your projects, but also make blog posts discussing why you did these things. Go with the why. Start with that why. Even if you do that before you actually build the project, start with the why. A lot of people want to know that they're working with somebody who's creative and will be able to think behind the reason for doing a lot of things. For a scalable application, DigitalOcean or AWS, both of them are scalable, so use DigitalOcean because that's what it looks like you're familiar with. And is React Native really good for Django? Yes, a lot of things are really good for Django. A lot of front ends are really good for Django, and a lot of front ends have a lot of options for back ends. So yeah, great. The SLD Snake, love your courses. You're the best Django teacher online. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I work really hard to get good at Django, and I want to help you guys. So that's where I found my rhythm and style. Work for a company with projects that are 1.8, 1.9, and 1.10 and are no more. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Please clarify. Django Channels course, mentioned this a few times. Thanks for the question. Can I upload the e-commerce 2 tutorial to YouTube? That one right now is only on joincfe.com/projects. And there's a newer one, joincfe.com/courses, that has a lot more information than the e-commerce 2 one does. Now I have all of that code on GitHub, so if you still want to learn from it, that's where you go. That's the best thing I can recommend for you right now. If you're ready for the investment, if you're really ready to take it to the next level, go to codingforentrepreneurs.com to join. Andrew asks, thank you for all your amazing tutorials. Thank you, Andrew, for saying that. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming out too. Hello from Belarus. Hello, welcome. Thanks for coming. Arpit, thank you for replying. Of course, love from India, love from California to you. Thank you for your e-commerce tutorial, and many thanks for taking the time out to upload awesome Django tutorials. Thank you for the comment. Really, really appreciate it. Mike, thanks for your contribution for evangelizing Django. Thank you for coming out and telling me that. I appreciate it. Amid, hello, welcome. Pit, it's Sunday now in India. Yeah, I'm not surprised. When we'll try Django 2.0 release. Don't have a release date just yet. Sorry about that. Soon, hopefully. Is this the mainstream on the YouTube? I live stream on YouTube, so yes, if that's what you're asking. I have live streamed on other platforms before, but right now it's just YouTube. I'm just keeping it nice and simple, going to where a lot of the tutorials are. Devil Evil, I'm a big fan of your work, boss. Thank you so much. Please upload more in-depth tutorials on Django, please. Thank you so much. Hopefully you've checked out Try Django 1.11 and did that in its entirety. That is a very in-depth tutorial, even though it's also great for beginners. How to code without feeling restless. It might be, well, I think if you're feeling restless, perhaps you need to do something about that, right? Just take a break, go for a run, play some video games, get back to it, right? Whatever you need to do, you know, lean into that restlessness, right? Or maybe it's brainstorm, or maybe it's asking yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to continue coding, and why isn't that number lower? Django channels, other people want Django channels. Awesome. Hello from Russia. Thank you for watching. Help to start Django. Awesome. But before I learned Android only. Cool. Glad that Django helped. Another Try Django 2 when will that release in the future, hopefully. It will happen, I promise. Can you create on a full course on hosting for Django? Yeah, I have in Try Django 1.11. It shows you how to host on Heroku. You want to set up in a Django app and the EC2 server. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe eventually I'll have to do something like that. It's definitely more advanced for a lot of my students and users and customers and audience. You know, whatever. I got to come up with a name for the rest of you. Well, maybe we're just Team CFE, I guess. Huh? We're all Team CFE. Can you make a Django REST API with Vue.js? Watch a video I did a few days ago about integrating Django with the JavaScript front end. Then you just need to integrate Vue.js from there. It's pretty straightforward. Do I need to learn math well to become a web developer? No, you do not have to know math really well to be a web developer. Not at all. Now, if you want to start doing data science, then yes, you do. Okay. Lewis says, thanks again for your live. I'll be at your next subscriber on CFE. You're a hell of a teacher. Thank you so much, Lewis. I appreciate it. Look forward to having you as a subscriber on joincfe.com. Much appreciated. Tohid Dual Alam, please make a tutorial on Vue.js and Django. Thanks for the suggestion. And the last actual comment, I actually caught up and I actually did all of them, and I did those pretty quickly. I'm upgrading my application from Django 1.5 to 1.11. Can you help me with some tips? Do try Django 1.11. See how Django 1.11 has evolved, and then just do that. Otherwise, copy your project 1.5 into another virtual environment. Update it. Completely update it. Just upgrade right off the box at a 1.11. See what all the errors are. Fix those errors and do it. Cool. Thanks for the course. Glad you enjoyed the Tweet Me course. It's great to hear. Thank you for the comment. Really appreciate it. And hello Hello, Igor. Thank you for watching the course. I really appreciate it. Okay, guys, so that's it. We have now done the longest live stream ever. Perhaps the live streams should just be on Saturday. I might just do that once a week instead of trying to do them every day. Mainly because we had a really, really good discussion, and now that we have that Slack channel, you can ask a bunch of the live questions there, which I'll actually just post that Slack channel link again right now in the comments. If you go there, you'll be able to hopefully ask a lot more questions in relation to this live, and if we do it once a week, then I'll just go through a bunch of those first, and then we'll jump back in. There's a really good chance that what I'm going to do is start to parse these into individual videos themselves and putting those on YouTube. Give me a thumbs up if that's what you want to see. If you want to see me parse out some of these common questions that happen into little videos. I've definitely done something along those lines before, but I kind of feel like maybe revisiting that and doing it again is a really good idea. The last comment, don't comment now. Thanks, buddy. Love you. Thank you so much, guys. Much appreciated, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. We'll see. Make sure you subscribe and get those notifications, get everything. Take care.